Welcome to Tuttle Talk, a part of the Real Estate Radio Network. And now, live in studio, offering you a fresh perspective. He's your local real estate and finance expert. He's part of the Common Sense Party, and he's committed to teaching you how to win in any market. Your host, Andy Tuttle.
Good afternoon and welcome to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network, where we teach you what the rich and the banks do, not what they tell you to do, and where we dispel the misconceptions of financial wellness and the local real estate market and show you how following a few key principles really can free you up to focus on the other more important areas of your life, like your friends, your family, and the community. Hey, I just got a new baby, so I want to focus on those things as well. I'm right there with you. I love that little guy. 6 weeks old. Oh, he's as cute as a button and a monster, a total monster. He does not sleep during the night, only during the day. What is going on? This is the most important hour of radio every Sunday right here on 660 AM, The Answer. And I am your host, Andy Tuttle. I've been in the mortgage business for 12 years. I've seen a lot of different moving parts. I'm NMLS number 184325. And I have seen a lot of people become house rich and cash poor, making decisions that they think are best for their family, but through all the misinformation and disinformation out there, end up making decisions that hurt their family. And so what I aim to do in this show every week is to give you dispel some of that stuff, give you some good, cold, hard facts and some opinions and ideas on ways maybe you can do it differently. And so I've vetted out a ton of expert contributors all across the financial and real estate world, and some people that have nothing to do with that, just to keep you engaged with what it looks like to be truly successful, not just monetarily successful, and maybe things that can tease your brain and get your brain to think in a different way, because especially in our changing world right now, the information age that we're in, and all the stuff that's going on around us, you need to be fed with as much good information as you can. Jim Rohn says you become like and are the five most people you hang around. And so if we can be that person you hang around once a week, with collectively all of the expert contributors that I've vetted out on this show, to give you a little bit more wisdom, you can take a nugget and not only have some good water cooler conversation, but maybe take that back to your family and hopefully help you make some better decisions so you can have a prosperous future. Then I'll feel like we have won and I've done my job. So that's why I do it. I hope you tune in and I hope you get some value out of it. I'd love your feedback. You can give us your feedback by emailing me at answers@andytuttle.com or checking us out on Facebook. Just look up Tuttle Talk. You can check us out there as well. And of course, you can get this show, all of the past shows, all of the different segments from the shows, all at andytuttle.com. I'd love to hear from you. Love to answer any questions that you have. And of course, throughout the show, I'm going to make sure I give you little tidbits of information. And we have all kinds of cool little free products and articles and things that I find helpful and useful and resources for you. And anytime during the show or after the show, you can call our off-air hotline or text this number. Just text the word TALK to 469-319-0660, and we'll get you those resources right out to you and make sure, if you want, to connect you with the professional that's right for you. That's 469-319-0660. Today on the show, a lot of big things going on. We have a huge announcement for you coming up in the Mortgage Matters segment. Oh, I'm very excited about that. Also, going to talk with Chris Oleg. He's been on the show a lot. He's a realtor with the Oleg Group over at Halo Group Realty. But today, we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart and very near and dear to Chris's heart. It's called Volunteer North Dallas. You should check that out on Facebook, too. But he has basically started, kind of picked up where another group has left off, making sandwiches every Saturday for the homeless. And we're going to talk more and more about that and what he's doing to make a difference and how quickly and easily you can get involved and how big of an impact it actually makes for just a couple of hours a week of your time, or even, 30 to 45 minutes. So stay tuned for that and how you can get involved there and what's going on here in your community. Also, we're going to get with John Butcher with the Butcher Group over at Caldwell Banker. Look, I hear so much. Everybody busting up, well, I don't need a realtor these days, and I don't need this, and blah, blah, I'm going to do it on my own. You know, people did that with WebMD, right? And people still do it. Because you say, oh, I'll just look it up on WebMD. I'll be my own doctor. Let me go ahead and make this incision myself. Okay, that's the dumbest idea that you could have. I am here, Brian Moore, my show producer. You hear him every week. This guy's been in the medical field for years. Brian, is that a smart idea to go off WebMD and think you're a doctor?
No, not at all. There's a saying in medicine. When you hear hoof steps, think horses, not zebras. All these people on WebMD think, I have that zebra.
That's right. And you don't. Because I tell you what, just stop. Just turn WebMD off. And I love it. I've used it too. And I've been like, okay, wait a second. I either have, this is either some kind of a bruise that means nothing, or I have a fatal terminal illness. You know what I mean? I got a bump, a lump. It doesn't matter. An itching, a rash. It could be 1,000 things. So be careful. Same with real estate. Just because there's Realtor.com, Truly, Zillow, all these helpful kind of tools to start the process, they don't have to be accurate. And actually, a ton of times they're not, and you end up wasting your time. But also, there are so many reasons that you need a realtor, and there's so much that realtors do for you that you don't even know, and how they fight for your property rights, and they fight that Texas is the only state in the union that doesn't have a transfer tax. That saves you thousands of dollars on each stinking closing and home purchase you have. You need these guys. We're going to get you the behind the scenes from a guy that's very involved in the real estate lobby and in the realtor community here in North Texas, and you're going to love to hear about that. So stay tuned for that, and then we're going to get with a special guest, Jack Long, CEO of Cookies by Design. It's like that, you get those, what is it, edible arrangements?
Edible arrangements or edible bouquets, yeah.
And then you have Pro Flowers for flowers. Well, now you got this for cookies. And boy, they're delicious, and they look awesome. It makes a great gift. But we're not bringing them on the show just to talk about cookies. We have in Success Month coming up in January.
Yeah.
And we got I can't wait. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be announcing some really big names for you that I'm so excited to interview and bring to you about, just like we did last year. We had some big names. We had Sandy Krakowski, one of the biggest online marketers. We had Michael Port we've interviewed, who is the number 5 most successful business coach or popular business coach in the world. Bob Bodine we've had on the show.
Yeah. Todd Duncan, the father of relationship-based selling in the mortgage business. Logan Stout.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, it goes on and on. Who started a new company, Logan Stout, did ID Life. We actually had him on the show again a month ago, or a few weeks ago, and we bring these guys to you to teach you what true success is, to go over that with you, and to give you some takeaways that you can take home. And man, start off 2014 and just know that it's going to be your best year yet. And we want to help do that and motivate you and get you excited about it. And so this is kind of a little teaser for that, because this guy, he's the CEO of this company, and this company is very successful. And there's certain characteristics of successful companies and what they do to stay not only on pace, but ahead of the curve when it comes to this business and this environment, whatever industry you're in. And so he's going to share some of that with you, and then share some of the ways that they're staying in tune with that, and some of the ways that even if you have celiacs or you have gluten allergy like I do, like so many people apparently do, that you can enjoy a cookie that's just as delicious as if it had that stuff in it. Oh, he's going to talk all about that. So stay tuned for that. And then we are going to get with Brian Moore in our More Cool Tech segment. You got a doozy for us today, don't you, buddy?
Oh, I do. It's a pretty cool thing. It's not an app, but it's an actual piece of
like a tech tool.
Little tech gadget, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun. All right, one of my favorite segments. So we've got a lot for you right now, though. Mortgage Matters. I got to tell you, we got a big announcement, and you're going to get more next week. But like I said, I've been in the business 12 years, and I've worked for a few different companies in my time, and I get recruited all the time. And, usually it's just like, no, whatever. I was at a great company, and I still think they're a great company, a seller servicer. They just weren't quite aligned with, sometimes it's about job fit and being aligned with, like we were talking about, what's going on in today's market and how to be successful in today's market and have a vision for the future. And this company that I partner with, we have just made a change, and maybe an offer I couldn't refuse. And they're a fantastic, innovative company called Oak Mortgage. And so I get to offer my clients everything I've always been able to offer you. Homeowners, the not only the system and the high touch system that made a name for ourselves as far as how we communicate with our realtors and the clients and the homeowners during the process, and making a memorable and enjoyable experience for you, but also getting improved pricing, improved systems. These guys have contracted out and researched and sat with the guys from Zappos, who have, obviously they're the biggest name in customer service, and with the Ritz-Carlton to develop a world-class system for delivering not only the mortgage process to you and the home buying process and the refinance process, whatever you need to do, but also before and after the closing. It's just a whole encompassing system and an efficiency system during the process, and also a way that we want to educate you throughout the process. And they're integrating with some of the things that I've built to help deliver the best most high-touch system on the market. And so I'm very excited about that. But finally, I've been able to do mission trips and go on those, and I'm very passionate about that. Been able to go, down to Mexico, but also some other countries, and in Africa. I've been a lot of places in Africa with my dad. Been able to build bridges and help him with the medical facility that he built that I was able to be a part of, and just love on those people over there in abject poverty. Well, they also share that passion. And for every loan that we close, we create a microloan in a third world country. Now, Muhammad Yunus, several years ago, started this microloans, microcredit. And it's very exciting because when he started this, actually, I think it was last year, the year before, they made it the year of the microcredit because it's helped so many people. These are just little $100, $200 loans to people in abject poverty. And they realized that the payback rate was 99% on these loans to help these people get out of it and sell their merchants and their goods, and they pay them back. And so there's a whole process that I don't have time to go into. But it's such a good thing to do, and it's helping so many people get out of abject poverty that they made a year for it. It was like last year, like I say, or the year before. It was the year of the microloan. And so we're excited to be a part of that, and I'm excited to bring that to you and partner with a company, an Oak Mortgage, that is passionate about giving back to you and giving back to people that are oppressed, and it's called Oak for the Oppressed. So I'm very excited. More to come on that, so stay tuned. And not only stay tuned for that, but hey, stay tuned for coming up here on Tuttle Talk. Look at that. I was accidental segue. I should have just gone with it. So,
Good one.
Yeah, there you go. So coming up on Tuttle Talk, I am going to get with John Allen, Texas Community Insurance, about more ways that it's like root canal work, but it's so important. You got to listen to this stuff about making sure that you're covered and not missing some important coverage that you should have on your home. We're also going to get with Chris Oleg about his volunteer North Dallas effort and what the big waves that it's making in our community and how you can get involved. So stay with us. Welcome back. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Remember, you can reach out to us on our off-air hotline with any questions you have about the show, 469-319-0660, 469-319-0660. Also, if you want to get any of the resources that we have, you can just text the word TALK to 469-319-0660, and we will get those out to you, and if needed, connect you with the professional that's right for you. So thank you so much for listening. Here with me now, I have Chris Oleg of the Oleg Group over at Halo Group Realty, and we usually talk to Chris about real estate, as he's an expert in the Colony area and a lot of the North Dallas areas. But today we're talking about something a little more near and dear to his heart and something that excites me a great deal. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks again for having me, Andy.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. Now, this thing you're doing, it's called Volunteer North Dallas. Tell me about that.
Okay, so we basically, as of right now, just get together every Saturday at a place in technically the Colony, but it's known as Austin Ranch. We meet at about 11 o'clock, so from about 11 to 1, we make meals for the homeless. No homeless actually are there. We prepare the meals and then load them into a truck, deliver them downtown to the Soupmobile, and they get distributed out throughout the week. Every Saturday, we do our goal is 1,000 meals, and it consists of bologna cheese sandwiches with chips and cookies. And so our goal is 1,000, and we're hitting right around 1,200 on average. The most we've done, which was this past week, was 1,800.
1,800 meals. So
Yep.
That sounds like a lot, but I know from talking to you that that's just a small piece of the bigger initiative that's going on that you're a part of.
Yeah, so we'll say on average, 1,500 for easy numbers. They distribute about 5,000 a week. So even our piece of the puzzle is, less than, it's about a fourth of what they actually distribute.
Right. And so you are doing this. So tell us when and where you meet right now and how people can get involved.
Okay, so we meet at Zen, which is in Austin Ranch. It's off of Windhaven. It's really easy to find, just about a mile off the tollway. We meet there every single Saturday from 11 to 1. We ask that everyone brings one of the items, whether it's bread, whatever's cheap, same with cheese, sliced single cheese, bologna, again, whatever's cheap, and then tortilla chips or cookies or whatever they can get for free or very inexpensive.
What about mustard or mayo or any condiments or anything like that?
We only do mustard.
Okay,
just for
it's
people
good.
that have
No.
dietary.
Yeah, no, it's a way to do it.
Dairy stuff. We only do mustard. I usually bring that. If people want to bring it, they can, but we typically provide that.
Okay, so then how many people usually show up?
It varies. So we'll have some slower weekends where 20 people will show up.
Right.
And then we've had some, where 75 people show up. It's growing every single week, so we never know what to expect, with the holidays and whatnot. But we always have plenty of room. As of right now, we have plenty of room. As long as people bring supplies, we have plenty of work for them to do. If we start growing too large, then we'll start opening up another location, either off 75 or possibly off 35, just depending on where the most people are coming from.
Right. No, I love it. I know you guys are, and I know you just got written up the newspaper. I know you've had some other publicity going on about this because people just love getting involved and love what you're doing. So I have a feeling it's going to blow up rather quickly. And
It is.
yeah, so stay tuned for new locations of this. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to volunteernorthdallas.org. You can also check out Volunteer North Dallas on the Facebook page. I know I'm a part of that group, but I don't know if it's a Facebook page. Is it a page or a group?
It's a page.
Okay, cool. So they can go search Volunteer North Dallas there as well. They not only need bodies and time, but if you don't have that, there is a place on volunteernorthdallas.org where you can donate money. It's a great thing. I'm happy to be a small part of it. I haven't been able to go in a while because of my new kid, but I got to get back involved there because it's just a great thing you're doing, Chris. If you want to get involved, come out on Saturdays to Zen for Now in Austin Ranch, 11 o'clock, or give on the page at volunteernorthdallas.org. And also there are sponsorship opportunities available if you want to be just a full-time sponsor for that. Correct, Chris?
That's correct. I'll have more details on the site about that for you guys.
Perfect. So go check it out there, volunteernorthdallas.org, or just go to the Tuttle Talk Facebook page. We'll have all that information for you as well there. Chris, thank you so much as always, man. Keep up the good work, brother.
Andy, thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you.
All right.
Okay, so now is time to get to one of my favorite segments, an early slot today. It's usually in the last half of the show, last part of the show. We're moving it up because it's prime time, baby. It is time for a really cool gadget in the more cool tech segment here with Brian Moore.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. I got a really cool thing today.
It better be cool.
It's cool, I'm telling you. Now, one of my things I do here while I'm not talking to you is I'm taking pictures of our guests and, kind of walking around the studio trying to not make noise. And I got a pretty massive camera here.
It's pretty big.
Nice Nikon camera. Now, it's cool. It takes great pictures, but it's kind of big, and obviously very expensive.
And you can't very quickly post that right on Facebook now, can you?
Exactly. So I found this really cool gadget. I was walking through the store and I saw this thing and I was like, no freaking way. It is like, you see the camera lens I have on my camera body here. Mm-hmm. It's basically an attachment like that clips right onto your smartphone, your iPhone, Android, and it's actually made by Sony. It's the Sony CyberShot. They have a QX10 and a QX100. The difference being the QX10 is a little bit smaller, actually has a little bit more zoom. It's half the price. It is retails for $249. The QX100 takes better pictures, a little less zoom, but the pictures on it are phenomenal, and it retails for $499.
Gotcha.
So they are two incredibly cool devices.
Perfect time for Christmas.
Exactly. Great Christmas gift for those budding photographers out there, or even photographers that need to be a little bit more on the go. They may not want to take their DSLR camera with them, which is the big honking camera I got here. But yeah.
Or for your friends that love to take a bajillion pictures of you, but they're always blurry and bad.
Yeah, because smartphones are not known for taking the best pictures.
Oh, they're pretty good, but you're right. If you want a real clarity and get it done and have it I guess you just, like you say, you just clip it on. Now, is it all just for iPhone or is it for all kinds of smartphones?
All kinds of smartphones. It actually has a different little attachment on the back that essentially works like a little clamp. So it will literally just squeeze right onto your phone, no matter what kind of case you got on there. If you have like one of those OtterBox cases, it'll work. If you have one of those extended battery cases, it'll work.
So I love that. That's easy and quick. It's a Sony. It's basically a camera lens that goes on the back of your phone. If you want to find out more about that, I'm sure you can Google it, or you can text TALK to 469-319 0660, and we'll get you all the information about that. 469-319-0660. And, of course, you can check us out on Facebook at Tuttle Talk, and we'll have some information there for you as well.
Absolutely.
Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect time for Christmas, guys. Great stuff. Coming up, we here on Tuttle Talk, I am going to interview John Butcher of the Butcher Group over at Caldwell Banker, and we're going to talk to you about the inside scoop of realtors. I'm tired of people that say realtors aren't worth their money. I'm tired of people pretending like just like they do on WebMD and saying, I can do all that on WebMD, so I'm my own doctor. This is a bad idea, and it is not helping you. You're exposed to huge liability, and it's costing people thousands of dollars instead of saving the money. We're going to tell you why and what realtors really do for you in the behind the scenes that nobody knows about next. Welcome back. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on 660 AM The Answer. Remember, you can reach out to me, Andy Tuttle. Thank you so much for joining me at 469-319-0660. 469-319-0660. If you don't want to talk right away, you can always just text the word talk to that same number, 469-319-0660, and we'll give you all the resources from today's show. All right, I've been teasing it. Here it is. Got with me right here in studio, John Butcher, the Butcher Group over at Caldwell Banker. He has been in the real estate game since '98, and more importantly, he's heavily involved with basically meaningless letters to you, CCAR, MetroTex, TreePack, TRLP, all these things that mean nothing to you, but do so much for you in the community and for your property rights, and they're fighting for these every day. So, John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andy. Good to be here.
Good. So glad to have you, man. I really am. So I get to talk with a lot of agents, as you know, and I interview a ton of them, but not everybody is so heavily involved with what goes on behind the scenes. And what's critical about that, I think, is one of the, maybe you can call it an epidemic that we're having right now in this economy, is that we know there's a glut of information, right? So much so that Bing's deal is they can help you get through that clutter, right? That's their marketing campaign. And we have things like WebMD, which I was talking about earlier, where people can go and you can check out all your symptoms, right? And basically think you're your own doctor.
Correct.
But then that doesn't always work out. You end up having to go to a doctor. You screw yourself up worse, or just live in fear.
Well, you better go to a doctor.
You better go to a doctor, a real one. Well, the same thing's happening in real estate, right? Because with the onset of Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, and all of these sites that put information at your fingertips, people feel, and you tell me if this is true in your market, that more now than ever, homeowners feel that maybe they don't need the realtor as much, that they can do it on their own, right?
Some do, yes.
Yes. And they get more information. You probably have, most of the people you talk to, most of the realtors I talk to say many of their clients, if not most, have done some research, and statistics show, I think it's 67% are doing internet shopping before they talk to a realtor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so a lot of that's like they feel, the sentiment I get every day and that I fight back is that people go, well, less and less, why do we need a realtor?
Well, it's very simple. One, you can't get into any of the houses without a realtor, any of the existing houses. As far as selling your house, it's, again, fairly simple. You make more money, you sell your house for more money with a realtor than you do without a realtor.
Now, see, that's where you'll need some stats, and I know you got them there, because people, I think, say that's why the exact reason they say, no, I'll do it on my own, because I don't need to pay that 6%. That's what they say.
That's right. And they think that's short-sighted thinking. Hey, I'm going to save that 6%. I'm not going to pay that. Well, several factors there. Average sales price of a FSBO, for sale by owner, is $174,900, and that's the average sales price for that. The average sales price for someone using a realtor is $215,000. That's 19% difference. Now, that being said, there's probably quite a few people out there at $150,000 range selling their house or trying to sell their house for sale by owner.
It goes back to that there's a lot of people out there in different price points that are trying to get to a place where they can save money, and I understand that in this economy. And so we see that sellers are trying to do that, but one of the things that I find in what you're talking about there is the stats are typically that it takes about 4 months longer, 4 to 6 months longer to sell your home if you're doing it on your own than when you're doing it with a realtor. And not only that 19% delta, but the average sales price is, and I'll go back to look this up, and I'll put it on the site for you, the fan page, but it's 6 to 8% higher. So basically it's a wash, plus you don't have the extra cost to carry. And I'll tell you what, because I work with for sale by owners all the time, when you are especially trying to downsize your home and you have a $300,000 home or $215,000 or $174,000 home, whatever that is, and you're trying to sell that to get into a smaller home especially, and you're paying that extra interest for 4 to 6 to 8 months, that's an extra $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 that you don't have to pay if you sell. Plus, you're getting the higher price point. And if I'm correct on this too, John, you think you're going to get away with 6%, but you're still going to have to sell it to a buyer, and you're not exposing yourself to any of the buyers because the realtors aren't going to show your house if they don't think they're going to get paid.
Correct. There's 23,400 realtors in Netris. They will have zero exposure to your house. So if they have a buyer, they're not going to buy your house. So you're automatically eliminating that pool of buyer potential.
You're cutting out 80% of your market, of your buyers.
That is correct.
And so that's why it costs you so much more to sell on your own.
And takes longer, yes.
And it takes longer. So that's the FSBO. So let's address the people that are maybe, and then I want to get into the looking at what you do really on the back end, not even for the seller to buyer, like the fighting for the property right stuff, because I get excited about that. But what about a buyer? I mean, it's legitimate. Hey, look, man, I feel like I don't have to pay as much. I'm doing the research. What do I really need a realtor for? Because they feel like you're just handcuffing them by saying, well, you can't get into the house. Well, that's like handcuffing me. It's like, well, then you just need to change that.
Right. Well, 90% of buyers find their house online when they use a realtor. 45% of people who are selling a FSBO do it off the sign. So how much easier is it to be online in your home, in your office, searching homes and finding that?
And trying to have to drive around all these neighborhoods and spend the extra time there.
The exposure alone is so worth it.
And plus, when it comes to the contract, you're not protected.
Not protected at all. There's a lot more lawsuit liability on your end when you're doing it on your own. And
I tell you exactly, and that's the biggest thing, guys, because here's the deal. And I had this happen, John, with a good agent that we both know and respect. This happened recently. A seller, and actually you and I talked about this. You were the one this is you. So you were telling me, you asked me about insurance company. So sometimes, guys, this happens, right? And this is not going to happen if you're buying a for sale by owner and you don't have realtor representation. That a seller's disclosure, it's supposed to, everything that's wrong with the house,
correct,
is supposed to be on that disclosure, right?
Right.
But we both know that maybe they just forget to put certain things on there, right?
It is very possible, yes.
Now, you can go and get an inspection and do this stuff on your own, but you're not going to know the questions to ask necessarily to uncover some of the challenges. But a professional, John, will do something else through an insurance company if you're suspicious of something, right?
Correct. If there's something that shows that, hey, maybe there was a different damage or they're covering something up.
You're suspicious.
Correct, you're suspicious. We can ask our local insurance guy or girl for a clue report, okay? And that helps. It's basically a database for them to show, hey, what claims have been made on that property over the last few years.
It's kind of like the Carfax for the house.
It is a Carfax for the house.
So that way, you can show me the Carfax, show me the clue report, so you can see it. So if ever suspicious, you can do that. And that's a big thing, guys. And that's what a realtor can help you do that you can't do on your own. So let's switch gears here on Tuttle Talk here. I'm talking with John Butcher, the Butcher Group over at Caldwell Banker. And he's also very heavily involved in TRLP, which is a Texas Realtor Leadership Program, which I'm a part of. He's also a part of CCR. It's a Collin County Association of Realtors. And a big thing that he was the chair of last year was just TREPAC, the Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee. Now, that's where I want to focus. What is the Political Action Committee, and what does it do for homeowners in Texas?
It protects your private property rights. That's the number one goal. There's a TAR helps lead the TREPAC, Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee, and it's a group of pooled money, in essence, that watches over every single bill and legislation and reads every word of every bill that's submitted to protect your private property rights, to protect taxation on selling your house, to protect everything to do with your private property.
So give me some examples of that. Do we have any, because I need help get clarification on, because I know when there were some specific years where some big things were done. I know in 2001, for instance, that they cut out the 8% sales tax, right?
In 2001, they did kill a bill that was proposed that had 8% sales tax on the sale of your house.
Hello, you think 6%, they just saved you a ton of money. 8% sales tax, $8,000 for every $100,000. Well, buddy, if you weren't underwater, you sure were after you got to pay that.
Absolutely. And in 1995, we talked about the seller's disclosure already. That wouldn't even be possible without the Realtors Political Action Committee. That was introduced in 1995. And selling on your own, you may not know to fill one out. You may not know when to ask for one. It can be a nightmare.
So just the ability to be able to do this on your own and to be able to have any kind of protection done by realtors fighting for you, they are required. We've got the biggest pack in the nation is in Collin County, actually. They have 61% basically participation.
That is correct.
So that means that everyone is giving money to these political action committees to fight for you, not only on the state and local level as far as getting rid of taxes, but also on the federal level to help you maintain property rights, to keep taxes as low as they can be. They're higher in the state of Texas, but that's because we don't have a state tax. And also to fight for you and the home ownership happening in America and in Texas specifically. So when you don't think you need a realtor, guys, I got to tell you, you do need realtors. They're fighting for you and you don't even know it. And it's so critical that we respect them and appreciate the good ones. Now, look, it's 80-20 in most businesses. It's no different in real estate. Just like every business, there are 20% of the people that are doing it right, and the 80% may give it a bad name. So your part-time Aunt Martha that sold a home 10 years ago, she's not the person I'm talking about you should use. I don't think you should use Aunt Martha. You should use a guy like John Butcher, who's heavily involved in giving of his time to give back to you so you can own a home and own it correctly and have the rights that you have so you don't have to worry about something going wrong when you get in there. They protect you every day. That's why they're worth the money. John, thank you for standing up for homeowners, including me. I'm a homeowner too, man. So I appreciate that and what you stand for and what you're fighting for. Keep that going. If you want to get in touch with John, find out more information about this, or you need to buy or sell a home and just want to get kind of an idea of where you're at on that, you want to call us or text us at 469-319-0660, 469-319-0660, and we'll get you hooked up with John. John, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. You are a rock star, sir.
Thank you very much. All right. Coming up, we have got, I told you about this, it's a teaser for Success Month, guys. This is a big deal. Jack Long, CEO of Cookies by Design. They're not just a delicious cookie that looks fantastic. Best gift you can give, especially like want to give your wife a cool gift. Send it to the office, get you out of the doghouse. Can't just send roses every time, guys. That's not the only reason you send these, but these guys are staying on top of the game, staying with the market trends, and actually helping pioneer a new way with some of the issues that we're having with the gluten intolerance and everything. Well, they've got a delicious cookie that maybe you can enjoy without the stomach pains. So hear all about that next. Welcome back. You are listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, you can reach out to us during or after the show on our off-air hotline. It's 469-319-0660. Or if you want to just get the resources to the show, aren't quite ready to talk, you can text the word talk to 469-319-0660. Of course, you can reach out, you can get access to all the shows, including this one, and all of them segmented out at andytuttle.com. And check us out on Facebook, too, at Tuttle Talk. I have with me here, kind of like I said, this whole show is a precursor to our Success Month that we're having in January, and we've got some great interviews lined up for you. And we've got a very successful man and a very successful company here with you today. The CEO of Cookies by Design, Jack Long, is sitting here with us today. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here. Now, it's not just cookies we're talking about here. Not just your run-of-the-mill chocolate chip cookies.
No.
These are very fancy cookies.
Yeah, they're works of art.
They are works of art. And if you go, and the website's cookiesbydesign.com, so you want to go check that out. You can see all their arrangements. So, you say you're a cookie company, but you're also more than that.
Yeah, we're primarily a gift company. 30 years ago, our founder, Gwen Gillum, found herself an unemployed mother of one up in Tulsa. And she kind of recognized there wasn't really gifts for guys. If you're in a hospital and you're a lady, it's lovely to get flowers. If you're a guy, not so much.
Right, you get the flowers like,
Exactly. Give them back to your wife, re-gift them. But so she recognized that, and she put together cookies and flowers in a cookie bouquet. We were the original cookie bouquet company. And from then, that humble beginning, she packed up all her belongings, put a dog in a Jeep, and drove to Dallas to create her first store in 1983. And we're a franchise company, so now we're up at 100 locations across the country.
Wow.
Our revenue is about 35 million.
In cookies.
In just cookies alone. And we have ambition to go international, but, we're consolidating at the moment.
John Butcher is responsible for $12 million of that revenue. He loves him some cookies by design cookies. So you're already been very successful. That's a great story. That's like the first set of these kind of gifting deals besides flowers. I didn't realize how long, 30 years, I didn't realize how long you've been around.
Right.
And so you guys have obviously made some advancements. You're into the online space very heavily. You've got a great presence there. Obviously, you have 100 franchises around the nation. That's enormous, and I'm sure that's just the start for you guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing to kind of get into this, kind of fit into all the new, there's all this gluten-free stuff coming out now. There's a lot of people with celiacs. I have gluten intolerances too, that I suffered through for 20 years. I had no idea until I got married, and she was like, I'm so annoyed by all your pain and, tight stomach stuff issues. It's not fun to talk about, but it's like, babe, I didn't know. I had no idea. I just thought I had bad stomach problems. Well, apparently there are some issues that can solve that, but typically if you go to have foods that are gluten-free, it's very difficult to get anything that tastes good. But you guys are doing something in that space.
Yeah, we've just launched our gluten-free range. It took us about 18 months. We brought a new food scientist into the business, a lady called Pamela Roybal, and she was able to develop our product to replicate what we do in a gluten market. So to take wheat out of our product is terribly difficult because it's a bouquet. It has to have stability on it. But we also said at the very beginning, it's pointless us doing this if it's going to compromise our flavor. It has to be good. A lot of gluten-free alternatives are just like cardboard. They're just really, really bland. And so it took us all the time and effort that we wanted to make sure that this was as good a replication of our core product as it could be. And we're delighted to say that it is. So we genuinely believe in the taste testing that we did, that if you didn't know it was gluten-free, you wouldn't know it was gluten-free. It's that good. And so we're thrilled that it's that good. And we've just launched last month the gluten-free range, and it's really, really been popular.
That's a big deal. I mean, that helps me out because it helps, especially if you can't tell, if I wasn't sure, I would probably just get the gluten-free.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, and I want to be able to eat it. And so I'll give it to him. Now, how long did it take you to find out? Because let me tell you, I actually had a Philly cheesesteak last week, and I was like, oh, man, because, the bread on those are so delicious. Right. And I was like, oh, give me the gluten-free version because they had it.
Right.
And I was like, I'll take it. And it ruined the delicious Philly cheesesteak sandwich. So I'm a little skeptical, of course, or I was a little skeptical about the cookie thing until after meeting you, of course, and getting this. I was like, well, no way. But you said it actually, how long did it take you to get up with this recipe? Because it didn't just happen overnight.
No, about 18 months to get it right. And then you have to go through, you have to appreciate that there's, 2 million celiacs in this country just now, but there's 20 million people with what you have, which is a gluten intolerance. And it is a serious issue. It's genuine pain, from the acute, which is extreme pain, all the way to mild discomfort.
Right, like the annoying kind of, oh man, this is just not fun.
Yeah, and so what we did, we had an acute celiac, is the wife of our Chip Streetside director of production. She was our taste guinea pig all the way through this. We kind of knew if at any stage she fell over, we were doing it wrong. And all the way through, she was delighted. Her and her sister are celiac, and then they were thrilled that they could actually enjoy something that they'd never, ever had the opportunity of having before. So it was great for us to have that kind of resource close by. And, when if you think about just the DFW area, there's 500,000 people with gluten-free intolerance. It's 6 to 8% of the population. And that is a huge amount of people that just are wandering around saying, just spare us some love, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's a lot of foresight you guys had, knowing, of course, doing your market research,
right?
Finding out how big the market is, not only here in the state, but and in the city, but also nationally, and then to invest the money. Because you got to go get a new food scientist. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
You got to spend all the time and do all the recipes that aren't right.
Right.
And that, a lot of companies just don't do that. That's why they're just turning out cardboard.
Yeah, and the new FDA regulation is that your product has to be less than 20 parts per million of wheat trace. And ours came in, we sent them to the lab. The highest one was about 14, so we were way under. But it's very, very strict, because if you go above that, you're not allowed to market yourself as gluten-free.
Oh.
So there are guidelines appearing. So it's important for us or for our customers to know that we are way under those guidelines, and everything that we do is there to protect customers.
That's not only protect them, but, well, you protect them from the gluten, but not necessarily from a little bit bigger waistline. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. I'm here with Jack Long, CEO of Cookies by Design. We're actually talking about, to all of you people that are gluten intolerant like me or celiacs, and I'm telling you, I can't wait to get some for my nephew because he doesn't get to have good cookies. Now, his mom, my sister, she works so hard to get them gluten-free stuff, and she makes them things, and she does her best, and she makes some pretty good stuff. But certain things are just not recipes for.
Right.
So to be able to, she doesn't have 18 months and a food scientist to help her get cookies. So to be able to send them some delicious cookies that him and his sister, his younger sister, can eat. I mean, that's a great thing. So if you're interested and you want to get some gluten-free cookies or just any kind of fantastic cookies, not only for you, but for your spouse, like they said, like Jack says, they're primarily a gift company. You guys are contracted out with, like you said, all the sports teams and...
Yeah, we carry the NFL licenses, the MLB, the NBA, and the NHL, and also all the college sports as well.
So that just means you can get cookies that have like their logos or their designs, or you could do a themed party
absolutely
with your cookies.
Yeah, and we also do, we're great for this time of year for business gifts. We have a huge range of business gifts, with companies that want to put their logo on cookies and give them out as thank yous. That's a nice thing to give at this time of year because, people like to see something that's edible, but it's also got their image on it so that it can endure with the customers.
Ding, ding, ding. That's a big one. I know we have a lot of business owners that listen to this show. That's a unique gift, guys. Don't do what you've done every year. Do something different. Go to Cookies by Design, and you can even get a gluten-free version. Nothing wrong with that. Put your logo on it. Jack Long, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, guys. Remember, you can go look us up, Tuttle Talk on Facebook. You can get all the information of Cookies by Design there. But you can also just go to cookiesbydesign.com. Find out, get that, order it. Let me know. Give me your feedback or foodback for how you think those cookies taste, because I think you'll find that they are delicious. All right, guys, that is it for this hour. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. I hope you've enjoyed it. The time, I know I have. Remember, if you want to catch this show in its entirety or any past show, you can go to andytuttle.com. Don't forget to check out volunteernorthdallas.org and help us make sandwiches for the homeless every Saturday from 11 to 1. And you can check out Chris Oleg, who started that here for us. He's over at the Zen in Austin Ranch this Saturday, every Saturday at 11 o'clock. You can do that and make sandwiches for the homeless. Don't forget also to go to bootcampaign.com. Get your boots on. Help us support the troops. No matter where you stand on political leanings, it is important to support those guys. They're out there today and every day fighting for you. I'd like to thank my expert contributors. I'd like to thank our special guests, Jack Long and John Butcher of the Butcher Group, for going deep with us about why realtors are important and how much they really fight for you. I hope you go back and listen to this recording if you are doubtful that they are valuable to you, because they are on so many levels. Remember, you can reach out to us on our off-air hotline, 469-319-0660, 469-319-0660. Thank you, Dan Bradford, our production director, and the entire family here at 660 AM. The Answer, that's it for today's show. I'm your host, Andy Tuttle. Be back next week with more great real estate and finance tips for you. Thank you so much for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM The Answer. You can reach Andy at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or email him, questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.